For the first time since 1973, Israel has entered the headquarters and bases of the Syrian army and seized its heavy weapons. They have already reached the government headquarters and the Syrian bases in Kyiv. They have also taken T-55 tanks and other weapons. Furthermore, Israeli army began a forced displacement operation against the residents of several villages in southern Syria. Syria TV reported that the Israeli army entered the western outskirts of the town of Jabata al-Khashab in the Kyiv countryside and demanded that the residents hand over their weapons. Israeli army displaced the entire population of the village of al-Hariya after seizing it. It pointed out that the Israeli army began displacing the residents of the village of al-Hamidiyah after seizing it, explaining that Israeli forces also entered the town of Ambatna supported by military vehicles and tanks. It revealed that Israeli tanks were spotted inside the city of Kyiv in southern Syria. Sources in southern Syria confirmed that they had monitored a movement of displacement from the village of al-Hamidiyah in Kyiv after Israeli forces threatened to bomb the residents, while the Israeli occupation army reinforced the deployment of its forces around the Syrian city of al-Bath. Israeli army stormed the municipalities of Ruwayhina and Ambatna in the central Kyiv countryside, where it withdrew from the town of Ambatna after stationing itself in a military site to the west of it, before blowing it up. Currently, the Israeli army is redeploying its forces in the town of Al-Ajraf in the same area. The Israeli army announced in a statement that the 210th Division, in cooperation with special units, continues to operate around the clock in the Syrian Golan Heights under the pretext of protecting Israeli citizens. It said that additional tanks and combat equipment were confiscated in Syrian territory. The Israeli army said its forces were carrying out field operations by brigade combat teams, commandos, and intelligence units in the buffer zone, under the pretext of removing threats and preventing terrorism on the northern border, as it put it. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported that Israeli forces continue their violations against civilians in the Kyiv countryside, near the border with the occupied Golan. According to the observatory, after their incursions into the towns of Hadar and Hamidiyah and the village of Ambatna, Israeli forces forced civilians to evacuate their homes. The observatory stated that this escalation comes in the context of strengthening the Israeli presence in the buffer zone, in parallel with intensive airstrikes that resulted in the near-total destruction of the Syrian army's arsenal, hours after the fall of Bashar al-Assad's regime.
رشال افرح ودمم نفديه بسوريا أسد وجيشه وشعبه والله الله الله حامية سوريا نحن رجال بروح ودم نفدية سوريا أسد وجيشه وشعبه والله حامية يا أسدنا.
اگه فلوسی خد میگه میشو تو خواهی تو خدا لیوات الان اگه مخاموش بدایی یلا بيت
Four buses operate daily in both directions, departing from the Heiha International Passenger Terminal and Blagoveshchensk's Amuraso Terminal. The route crosses the Heiha-Blagoveshchensk Highway Bridge, serving as the primary entry and exit point. The new passenger route marks a significant step in expanding the services of China-Russia highway ports, further easing cross-border travel and exchanges. Located on the China-Russian border, Heiha faces Blagoveshchensk city across the Heilongjiang River. The Heiha-Blagoveshchensk cross-border highway bridge over the Heilongjiang River opened in June 2022, playing an important role in fostering China-Russia trade and relations.